All right, cool guys. So let's continue now. I've just skipped one small area, and I'm gonna do that over the next maybe couple of hours. Only because there's some stuff that I really want to talk about really extensively, and that's probably around remote access. So what happens once we get access to a device? How do we compromise it? Where I'm going to talk a little bit around the firewall stuff, how stateful inspection works on the firewalls. And then I want to jump into obviously executing and creating the payload, and then pivoting around the network that way. So I've skipped that session only because I'm at home right now, and I've had a really long day, and I'll continue that session tomorrow morning when I'm in the office, and I can obviously record a lot better when I'm in the office. So I'm going to create this sort of video now around alternate data streams. So if you guys want to Google alternate data streams, just check it out. Now, this sort of exploit came about a couple of years ago. So what it essentially allows an attacker to do is basically do a couple of things. One is the main outcome for creating, let me just minimize this, guys, because it's annoying me. All right, that's cool. All right, so the main reason why we want to use data streams or NTFS alternate data streams, specifically around Windows environments, is file system forks. So the main outcome for this is basically hiding data. So let me just grab this screen so I can do some drawing. So the main reason I want to create a fork is have a think about it in this way, right? So you've got two files. You've got file 1 and you've got file 2. Let's say file 1 is an executable. Let's say it's like calc.exe, right? Calc.exe. And file 2 might be some sort of payload or a malicious bit of code or text file or, you know, whatever the hell it may be. And I can basically put this .txt, .exe, .xls, .doc, you know, whatever this file may be, I can then basically create an association with file 1 and file 2. So essentially it becomes one big file. And the cool thing about this is it doesn't even alter the size of the actual file. So if this calculator file is 512 megs, and this is going to be like, this exe might be, you know, 512 megs, you know, the overall file is going to be what this file is. And that's the most freakish thing, because when you look at the directory listings, when you do the dir or a full view of that, you know, you'll see the content. But if you don't do the dir full R, if you just do a normal directory viewing and you say calc.exe or calc, you know, or this financial document, whatever it may be, it's going to show you that length or that file size might be, you know, 200 meg or whatever the case may be. It doesn't alter at all the weight of that file. And that's what the most freakish thing about this is. So for an attacker, we want to now hide within something that's going to be running inside the file system. And the cool thing about this is you exploiting the alternate data streams within Windows is we don't need any third-party software or any third-party applications to run. We can just do it within the command line. Right, and that's so scary because there's ways to encode, there's ways to, I guess, evade or send information out of the network where tools like Mimecast don't pick it up. And, you know, I've had a long, big stint with Mimecast saying, hey, you know, I can send MP4 files into your environment and you're not going to pick it up. And they're like, oh, yeah, just send us the information and then we'll update it. And, you know, and they don't do anything about it. It's like, guys, like I'm evading you guys by hiding files and sending these files out as executables or, you know, .pdfs and .txts and your products aren't picking them up. It's a big violation, it's a big issue, and they're not seeming to do anything about it. So hence this video. So pay attention because this is going to be one of those videos where, you know, this is what I do in an environment. I will hide inside the ADS, very deep inside, I guess, the actual file system and the file structure. And you have these products and appliances that don't actually pick you up, and I can hide and run exes, and I can run multiple persistent connections, and things just don't detect me. And I'm not going to complain about that because my job is done now. And that's the most amazing thing. So the main outcome for this is basically, one is hiding data or hiding information or hiding content specifically, or executables. It'll be a flavor of those two, but the main outcome is to hide or just basically go on undetected inside the file system. And obviously the last part of that is doing a demo. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. So think of this as two files. So file 1 and file 2 again. And we're going to basically assign attributes of this file with this file. So any attributes, author name, details, size. When I talk about remote access a little bit later, there's the MACE attributes. So they're the last modified access content created sort of files. And these MACE files can obviously be altered. So when I do the remote access demo, I will talk about MACE, and I'll talk about how an attacker will then create a file. Like, let's say I'm doing a directory listing inside their desktop, for example, and they've got a file called, financials. So I'll go inside that directory. And once I'm inside there, I can start creating, editing, modifying that, .xls or .txt or whatever the case may be. I'll upload the new one, and then it's going to give a timestamp of the current MACE attribute, which may be now at 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time from Sydney time, right? I then can reset the MACE to whatever time I want. I can go back 3 years, or I can go back 2 weeks, or I can do the last modified, which would be the last edited version of that file, which was say yesterday. So as an attacker now, I've gone and uploaded this new financial information, which could be totally different to what was intended. I've changed the MACE attributes of that file, and they don't know it's happening. And even from a logging point of view, I can do time stomping, which I'll talk about later when I do the remote access. And this is what I said, I will do the remote access in a separate video because I want to spend a little bit of time. I was originally going to spend around 15 minutes on this, on the remote access. I think I'm going to spend it a bit longer because I've got some time now. I can get a bit more granular and a bit more, have a bit more fun with it. And you guys can obviously watch this in your own time. But what I can do with a time stomping, so a timestamp does what? So timestamp says, hey, here's a file, and it'll give you the timestamp of that file where it's 5:14 p.m., AEST, right? Australian Eastern Standard Time. With time stomping, I can get rid of that. And that's what's so cool. Now, from a logging point of view, good luck. So I don't want a ruler there. Get rid of the ruler. Right. From a logging point of view, if I've got a system administrator now trying to log everything that I'm doing, he's not going to be able to see anything. And that's what I want. All right. So let's go into the demo. I'm not going to use this sort of thing because I don't really need it. And then we'll talk about steganography. Cool. So I'm just going to stop the share from this screen, and I'll jump over to my Mac where I've got Windows 7, which is going to be my little testbed environment, which I'm going to go ahead and run and show you this exploit. All right, so I'm stopping the share. I'm resharing on my Mac, and we are here. All right, cool. So let's fire up my VMware Fusion. So I've got Windows 7 here. Windows 7, and let me open that up full screen. Awesome. And when this finishes, I'm gonna, well, once this logs in, I should say, let's log in. Okay, once that jumps in, we can start getting onto the nitty gritty. All right, cool. So There we go. All right. So amazing. So I'm just going to fire up the command line, and I'm also going to run it as administrator, just in case there's any issues with this. I don't want it to sort of go ahead and do some stuff, and then it tells me, no, you don't have permissions. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to take data, and I'm going to increase the size on this, and now you guys can obviously see what I'm going to type in the command line. I'll go through what I'm going to go through. 1024. Let's apply that. Fantastic. All right, cool. So I'm going to hit those changes. Great. So I'm in system 32 right now, and I'm just going to go back to the full top of the directory. So what we're actually going to do now is basically take data and associate it with a file. So this file would be what we call the fork, so fork 1, for example. And with this fork, we basically do an association to, I guess, set it without altering the information, like I said. So when we create the fork, so for example, this file down here, it's a screenshot that I've taken, and this is going to be one of the talks that I'll do a little bit later around the attacker. And when we knock on a server, what do we actually get? You know, and this file might be, you know, if I move it over, let me just minimize this because it's quite annoying. All right, so if I look at the properties of that file, it'll tell me, you know, the size of the file, so 623 kilobytes. Here's the MACE attributes, so the last modifier, the created access entries. This is all the information that we've got, right? Here are the attributes: read only, hidden, archive, and it'll tell me like it's created at this date, 6:26 a.m. It was last modified at that time, and it was last accessed just then. So we just last accessed it the moment I just launched it. And here's more information. So these are all the parameters that we can then go ahead and alter with. We can talk about obviously altering the image size, the name, the image type, and all that sort of stuff. So if we take this association with this particular image, I then can go ahead and embed other stuff inside there. So I can run an executable, which may be a payload. And each time they run this and open this will run, but then it's also running something else in the background as well. So this is what makes it so cool about hiding things. And once we start really getting more into the cool stuff, when we talk about rootkits specifically, you can do some awesome stuff with rootkits, and that's how they go really undetected in the network, because they hide so low within the operating system that virtually any appliance that, you know, we talk about the silencers and, you know, the Symantec and the ESET and all those awesome products on the workstations, they don't pick things up as well as they should. They focus on so many things that they don't focus on one specific area. And that's why I really have this negative opinion about a lot of these commercial grade products, because they're so clunky, you know, and we spend so much money on installing and setting these up for the enterprise level, and they don't do anything. You know, it's all, you know, flashy lights and blinky boxes sort of a thing, and it really does nothing at the end of the day. And, you know, sometimes it's really disappointing to see that, because a lot of companies spend a lot of money implementing these things, and they're so easily evaded. And, you know, hopefully that, you know, me showing you these sort of things, it raises a bit more awareness into, okay, well, what do I need to look at when I'm looking for threats? And, you know, there's some things I want to show you about, because these are the things that I implement and do to evade these sort of tools. So, yeah, it is what it is. So what we're going to do with this file is we're going to create an association. So file 1, file 2. So file 1 might be a document or a PDF or, you know, a screenshot in this case. And then file 2 might be those attributes. So a remote access backdoor. So payload can be associated with the script, as I said. And then once they open that up, that PDF or whatever that is, it'll run something else and do something else in the background. And the funny thing is, it's all built inside Windows. So I don't even have to go and download any other products. I don't have to do anything. We can literally just do it inside here. So let me just show you a few things before I do it. It looks like I was playing around with it before, so that was me creating those things. So let's just go ahead and I'm just going to make a directory, and I'm going to call this folder ADFS hack, right? Okay. All right, let's go make another directory. Test hack. If that works. All right, cool. So test hack works, and I'm going to go into that folder. So there's our folder here. So it was just created now at 9:11 p.m. The 7th of the 9th. And then I'm just going to get into that folder and do a dir, and there's obviously nothing in there. Okay, and that's good. So first things first, I'm going to create a text file. So as I said, for the simplicity of this video, I want to basically demonstrate how things work. I'm not going to go into creating PDFs and doing some awesome things. This is not what this is about. This is about showing you how simple things can be, how things can be evaded, and how you're going to obviously mitigate against that. So I'm going to create a file, and I'm just going to call this file like a sample.txt, for example. So this is just a text file that I am creating just to show you how easy it is to evade Cylance. I'm not picking on Cylance, guys. I'm just, they're the only ones front and center right now when I'm talking about this, because I had a meeting with a couple of guys the other few days, a couple of weeks, trying to put in some POCs. So they're front and center in my mind. I'm not, you know, doing anything to damage or tarnish the reputation. They're a great product, and I really speak highly of Cylance. They do some amazing things. But they're just at the forefront of what I'm working on in some production environments, and that's the only thing I can think of right now is Cylance, Nextop, and Darktrace. So I'm not being biased or anything. It's just something that I can talk about. So this is how easy it is to evade Cylance and any other vendor products. Okay, and I'm just going to call this file sample.txt. Cool. So that's done. So if I do a dir, you see that sample.txt was created. And if I look at the time here, so here's our timestamp. Says, hey, sample.txt was created and the size of that file is 125 kilobytes. Cool. So if I do a dir again, you see the file, it comes up. Now let's add additional content to this file. So here's our fork one in this case. So these are normal.txt. And now I'm just going to create another file, and I'm going to go echo. This is the hidden content. I have found encryption keys within this Windows 7 box. Here they are. Now, if I'm a criminal and I want to send these keys out, I'm not going to specify things that are like this nature, like say, hey, this is hidden content. I have found encryption keys. I'm just going to create things that are a bit more invasive, or not, red flagged as you would put. I wouldn't put, hey, I found keys and here they are and this is awesome. I wouldn't do that, but just this is a demo. So, just for purpose sake, encryption keys are whatever, FG 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, cool. And then I want to associate that with our sample document. So sample.txt, which is what we created up here. And if I do a :/secret.txt, you will now see that I've associated this sample.txt with another file called secret.txt, which will now associate this content with this file and this extra file called secret.txt associated with it. So what I just did, press enter, do a directory listing, and you see that the file is not there. So we did create it. We echoed the response saying, hey, echo this. So this is hidden content within Windows 7. Here it is, the encryption keys. So with a :secret.txt, it's now taken file 1 and file 2 and it's mushed it into one file called sample.txt. Now, to the naked eye of someone just going, hey, show me the directory listing of that, it's not going to come up. So if I do a dir and do a full list of that, now it's going to show me the content of that, of that file. So sample.txt now has an additional 116 kilobytes worth of information with a secret.txt, and it's telling me that, hey, this is data in here, right? And that's cool. So now we can actually go ahead and view that. So if I open up Notepad and run Notepad against sample, it'll show me that, hey, within this Notepad, here's the information inside there. And that's what we've written. So this is just a text file. Notice you don't see the other bit of information that we read before about the encryption keys. Right? And that's what's cool about it. And in the next video, when I talk about the steganography stuff of evading these things and getting outside, those amazing firewalls and UTMs and application content filtering firewalls, Checkpoint does some really cool things, because I've worked with Checkpoint and I was a Checkpoint instructor for a little while, and they do some amazing things, but you can still evade it. It's like, wow, we just spent so much money putting in all these sandblasts and awesome 0-day protection and all this sort of stuff. And you can just evade things with with simplicity. And sometimes the easiest stuff just works. So as you can see, that the additional content that we've written isn't inside here, and that's cool. But if I close that and use the notepad again, so notepad, sample.txt, and if I do a colon with secret.txt, you notice now that this is the hidden key, the hidden content. So now we are able to see what's inside that colon secret text, which is this, right? But to the naked eye, you'll notice that if I do a dir again, you're not going to see that opening it up with just normal sample. Okay, and that's what we want, because no one's actually going to go look at the entire directory, or not many people do. And if they do, there's another awesome tool called shattering. Now, if you're not familiar with shattering, I really urge you to look it up. And I'll just quickly, I'm no means going into this right now, because I'll spend so long on shatter stuff, because it's such a red team thing to do to the blue team, where they won't be able to run any commands on the command line. So if they are running some auditing, or they're in the command line, they want to create new directories or list a directory, we can shatter that. And then what the shatter will do is cheap online ink. No, it's not. I just encourage everyone to look at it. Yeah, it's a shatter. So CHATTR. It basically it doesn't allow them to run any commands in a nutshell. So if I'm an admin now and I'm going in here and I'm going dir, I can block them from typing dir. So it won't even work from them. So from a blue team perspective, it becomes inusable, if that's even a word. So you guys have noticed that I'll start playing around with words. Inusable may or may not be a word. I'm not an English expert. I don't know. But them going to the command line now, trying to do auditing, trying to, list the directory, trying to make directories, trying to do stuff, I can really start to log down what they can do inside the command line, which makes their life a living hell. Because, if I'm in here and I want to go dir and that doesn't work, we've got some issues, right? And especially if they're using a domain account or domain credentials and stuff, it starts to get a little bit fun and frustrating for them. And that's what I'm there to do, is to make their life a bit of a living hell. Now, there's techniques and stuff that they can do to make my life a living hell, but no way I'm getting into this now. So I encourage you guys to look up Shatter. So Shatter is an incredible sort of red teaming tactic that I use and a lot of people use. And I give full credit to Shatter to Raphael Marge. Raphael Marge is the creator of Cobalt Strike. I had the privilege of meeting him a little while ago. He's the one that created Armitage. So if you're familiar with red teaming and pen testing, Armitage is sort of one of the coolest attack tools that we use right now. It's a GUI-based interface, and Raphael sort of took the issues with Metasploit, and Metasploit is great, and Metasploit framework specifically, but there's a lot of issues with Metasploit. Once you're attacking multiple systems, multiple stuff, it starts getting a little bit messy trying to manage things, because one, you have to talk to different files and file structures, file systems. And, you have to go into a interpreter session, you lose where you are, you have to go back, you're in the shell. And it just starts getting a little bit, where am I sort of a thing, where Raphael said, hey, no, I just want to create this one console where I can just do everything from the single console, and just opens up little tabs from each session and host. And, it's a red team sort of paradise where, Metasploit and Armitage, the tool Raphael sort of created, I sort of learned that attack through him. So I urge you guys to look at Raphael's content. He's, a really cool sort of teacher. He does a lot of red teaming stuff. He's a great person, great human. Just an awesome community contributor, I would say, just with the stuff and content that he creates, and, big thing to, Armitage and all its glory that he sort of created. So a big shout out to him, and obviously the little tool called Shatter that we red teamers use. So going back to this now, so that we've associated two files. We've got the secret.txt. We've also got the normal file. So now let's take it a step further. So now if I'm trying to do things that are malicious, I might go ahead and download a payload, or, in this example, I'm not going to download anything. I might just use whatever's in here. I'm sort of going on a tangent here. I haven't sort of pre-done this before, so I thought it'd be more fun to to just do it and just see how we end up and where we end up. If it sort of goes to doesn't go as planned, then I'll just stop the recording and re-record it again. But I don't think we would get to that level. So what I'm going to do now is take a step further. And what I want to do is I want to get an executable and I want to hide content inside that exe. So what are we going to do? So instead of just going online and just downloading something, which we can do, actually, let's do that. So I had another idea, but always go with your gut instinct, I would say. All right, so I'm just going to download something. Countdown. I think I did an example of this countdown timer. I think I downloaded a countdown. Yeah, time and date. Oops. Now, if this doesn't work, I'll just do something else. But let's see if we can just download something. Countdown timer download. All right. I don't know if this is gonna work, but come on. I just need to download something. All right, one more go. If this doesn't work, I'll just go to step 2. Let's see if we can download this. All right, this looks good. So let's see if we can download this. Now, I don't know what I'm going to be downloading. It's 430 kilobytes, and quite frankly, I don't care. It's in my VM. So if it's something malicious, yeah, good. If not, then yeah, I don't really care. So unknown publisher, I wouldn't trust that, but let's run it and see what it does. If it does anything. So God knows what I just downloaded. Holy shit. All right. All right. Plan B. Oh shit. All right. And like they say, you always have a plan until you get punched in the face. So all right, let's go to plan B. So what I'm going to do is let's see what's in program files. So CD program files, okay, cool. So media player, DVD maker, cool. So I want to go to DVD maker. So CD DVD maker. Let's do a dir4.exe. There should be an executable in here. Cool. So there's DVD maker.exe. So if I launch DVD maker.exe, you should launch a DVD maker, right? Cool. So I presume this is what it is, and this is how we burn DVDs inside Windows 7. It's a DVD maker. So I'm going to close that, and that's a 2258 sort of, so 2 megs, whatever that file is. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a file. So inside DVD maker, so I'm going to go echo. These are hidden content. Okay, these are files. These are something. These are contents of the file. All right, nothing else came to my head. Don't judge me. I don't know. It's late. I'm so tired. But forgive me for not being very creative right now. So I'm just going to create a file called textfile.txt. Cool, so that's done. So dir, let's search for that txt file. So it's here. So here's our file that we just created. So it's 35 kilobytes, textfile.txt. Cool. So right now, what I want to do is I want to associate this file with this DVD maker. So every time this DVD maker runs, it'll also hide this file inside DVD maker. It'll come up, but it'll also associate text file. So it'll associate this file with this file as well. All right. So the next step of that is, so what we're going to do now is we're going to associate the alternate data streams file, the information, with this text file as well. So to do that, I'm going to say, hey, this is the type C information. So we're going to go into this program directory file. So what it's saying now is typed, which says, hey, I want to type this and associate this file with where it's associated. So right now, this file is associated in the C drive, program files, DVD maker location. So C colon drive, it's inside program files, and inside there is called, whoops, program files, DVD maker, and it is the DVD maker.exe, which is this file up here. So it's that 2000 kilobyte file, so 2 meg file. And then I want to say, cool, now that I've got this association, so this type of association, I now want to associate this file with this text file that we've created. But now I want to put a colon and I want to associate the DVD maker as well. So what I'm going to put is DVD maker.exe, enter. So now what we've done is we've just associated this file at this location with this text editor file, this text file.txt, and the executable. So now we've just associated 2 forks essentially with one sort of system, like one file system itself. So if I do a dir with this executable, so now I want to say, show me any listing, show me the directory listing with anything, that's what the asterisk is, anything ending in .exe, and it says, hey, these are the files that I have running in .exe. So we set that 2258 file. Now, has that changed or altered? It shouldn't have, so there you go. So that was that's what it was before we did the type conversion. Here's the file addition of that text file as well, which is 35 kilobytes. So 2258432 plus that should be a number, you know, a bit bigger than whatever that is. So if we go down, there you go. You see, it hasn't even altered the size of the file as well. So from that length, from that, you know, what we've just done, that file has still stayed the same, 432, right? There you go, 432. It hasn't moved. And that's awesome, and that's what we want now. So now that we've associated fork 1 and fork 2, we've got one exe that's now running this .txt inside there as well. So that can be another exe, it can be a PDF, it can be whatever the hell I want it to be. And now I'm hiding things within this DVD maker.exe file, and that's awesome. All right, so next step is, let's just say that this user's got something on their desktop, and you know, you might want to even create aliases. So I've had cases where, you know, I'm working with an administrator and he might run Wireshark through the command line. So if I'm going to create an alias and he'll just go into the command line, just go Wireshark and launch Wireshark and it'll start, you know, I can create an alias. So each time he launches Wireshark, he'll also be launching this DVD maker, or he'll be launching the payload that I created backdoor into his system with. So that's why, and that's how often we can create persistence, is we create aliases for the commonalities or the stuff that they're working on day-to-day basis, that now makes it more easier to go, okay, I'm going to associate a file with another file that they're going to be using every single day, and I'm going to merge that file into one, right? And this is where it gets really cool. So right now we're going to create an alias. So I'm going to create an alias that says, hey, I want to make a link. So MK link says make a link, and let's give it a name. So in this case, I'm just going to say DVD maker.exe, which is basically referring to, you know, this. Oh, actually not DVD maker. Let's go DVD.exe. It's not going to work. So DVD.exe, which is going to be the alias. So each time I run DVD, so if I go into the command line after I do this command and run DVD.exe, it will run the DVD maker plus the text file that I'm associated with. Okay, so I make link DVD.exe, and I'm going to associate that with my text file .txt colon, what else? DVD maker, the original file .exe, right? So DVD maker.exe is our file that's going to be running. It's going to be hiding this thing with an alias called DVD.exe. Okay, and it says, great, you have now created a symbolic link for DVD.exe, which now entails this text file that you have broken into this DVD maker.exe file. So file 1, file 2, one whole file. We now have an alias over here of DVD.exe as well. So now that is the actual application. That DVD.exe is now this DVD maker application. So dir, let's look again for the exe file. Once again, nothing's been altered. The file still remains the same. That's perfect. Now we've a couple of levels of obfuscation, I should say, because now we're actually hiding inside the actual files. So if I run dvd.exe now, and it works, cool. So now it's actually running that program. And in the background, it's also running that .txt file. So if I build something malicious, it will also be running that as well. So I'll create some videos around things that we can implement to mitigate this, or things that we should be looking at to obviously to detect and remediate these sort of attacks. But just for your information, guys, that's as easy as it is. Now I'm hiding stuff inside this file that's going to be running. And, imagine you're running things like, let's have a look what's actually running in the taskbar. So things like services or things like processes, or, I can then hide things under the explorer.exe. So once Windows logs on, it's automatically creating these things. I can run and hide things inside there. And that's where it gets really freaky, because these things are now going to be running automatically, or even Task Manager. There's just endless amounts of things that we can start doing. So there's a bit of value for you guys. I hope you've sort of enjoyed that. Bit of obfuscation, a bit of cool things. Let me know what you guys thought about that video. And I'll also create subsequent videos as well to show you how we can go ahead and, obviously remediate and detect those things as well. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the share and we're going to go over into steganography in just a couple of minutes. I'm just going to grab some water and we'll commence in a few minutes.